Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, man. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the BoBCast podcast, episode 6 after a year hiatus. It's been a year. I think our last one was August 20th, 2014, so
day, yeah.
almost a full year. A lot has changed.
Return.
So we're going to welcome everyone back to all 5 people that probably watched all of them.
This is for the hardcore fans, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Where's Sean?
Yeah, okay, well...
This is honestly for Sean, since he's about the only other one that listens to this channel.
Hey, Sean used the camera.
He
webcam.
did. He was also on the original one with video too.
Honestly,
he
that
was.
makes him more of a BoBCast member than either of the.
He was
I'm gonna
probably.
throw it out there.
He was probably on more of them.
Wait, does Mark?
Hey, what
have
about
one?
me? You don't give a
Yeah,
shit about
fuck
me.
you, Tom.
Well, I know Connor had his job. I think was when we did most of them, so he missed most of the early ones, and he came through at some point. So,
I
yeah.
stayed up until
Jobs.
4 a.m. for some European shit one time. There's a centipede on my ceiling.
Oh, the game. Yeah, that was Gamescom last year, which
Gamescom.
basically was a year ago. Yeah, today. So, but yeah, some of the things, wonderful things coming out of Gamescom this year. That's one of our main talking points. Intel Skylake processors, all the new flagship i7 and i5. Also moving on to DDR4 and the future of that. The new I think it's Z170 or is it Z107 motherboards? I forget what the chipset is. I think it's Z170.
170.
I think so, yeah. Also talking about some of the new peripherals that Corsair has released at Gamescom. Some fireworks kind of came from that between Corsair and Razer, basically shooting shots across the bow at each other, so it's kind of entertaining. Also, the stage fright hack on Android, kind of terrifying and exciting at the same time, because I love hacking it. I like it because it's just so terrifying, and it really just opens your eyes to how vulnerable you are at any given time.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to go to really sketchy neighborhoods and walk around at night because it's terrifying and exciting.
It's a little different, I think.
It's slightly different. I feel like, I mean, I'm not going
Your
to...
actual life is a little in danger there.
Yeah, I mean, your online life versus your real life. I think I'll sacrifice my online
My
identity.
online life
for
is
that.
my life.
Exactly.
Okay. Well,
Maybe for Tom.
That's cute. Also, touch on the new trailers from Gamescom 2015. A whole bunch of new games are coming out in the near future, and that's pretty exciting. And if we get to it, we'll top it all off with the UK being really stupid and trying to fight piracy by promoting people to do more piracy. So anyway, with that, let's roll the intro, because I think I'm actually going to work this time. So let's see how it goes. Oh, no, there it is. Ah, there we go. So anyway, it's been a fun time. So we'll just kind of go through some of the computer upgrades that we've done recently. Tom has done the most recent upgrade, kind of a big upgrade just before Skylake. So
As
he's
always.
the CPU and motherboard upgrade. So what did you end up getting with that then?
So now that they released the new ones, they're dropping down all the prices. So I got a 4790K, which is the Haswell.
Is it the
Haswell
Haswell refresh,
refresh,
right? Yeah.
So the Haswell E, Devil's Canyon. Got a new motherboard with that, obviously. And then just earlier this week, we got 16 gigs of 2400 RAM. So yeah.
So are you all 7.9s across the board now? Or I forget, is there something that was lacking in your system?
Let me tell you some BS. I am not 7. I'm 7.8 in the processor category. So
Oh,
I
you
guess
haven't
I didn't
overclocked
shoot
yet,
high
right?
enough with that one.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see. Or I haven't overclocked yet, so I'm gonna have to get into that, of course, to really get the most out of the upgrade.
I mean, you have the full, water cooling setup. So out of anyone, you could probably benefit the most from the overclocking. You could definitely
Yeah.
handle it the most.
I can definitely push it more than I am right now, which is not at all. So
You were
Yeah.
rocking Sandy Bridge before that. Still, that was a 2600K. What did you
Sandy
have?
Bridge, 2600K. At the peak, it was at 4.5, and then that kind of crashed a lot. So I just sort of dealt with it for 8 months, and then Mark convinced me to turn some settings down.
Why would you just deal with it? Why wouldn't you just change it?
Because then I don't have the fastest processor, Mark. All right?
Is
You
it
want the
worth it if
fastest
it
thing.
crashes all the time?
It's gotta go fast, man.
I mean, how many times would you crash on a given gaming night? It wasn't every night, but I feel like it was probably
wasn't every
once
night,
a
and
week.
I actually have I have them all saved in a file. You know,
Oh,
I got it
okay.
all. So let's see. It was about a monthly thing. You know,
Was
Just
it
sorta
like
happened.
was it just a blue screen or was it like
it was a
It's
blue screen,
non-responsive.
and it was a BCC or a BC code of 124, which means hardware error.
oh,
So, really not helpful.
probably a little bit more helpful than the origin codes though, I would say for
Oh,
most
yeah.
of the time. The battlefield.
Something went wrong.
Something
Mhm.
technical. It was technical.
It was technical, admittedly. They weren't completely out of nowhere
I like
with
that. I don't know what I was looking at, but it was an error message. It was like, "You should not get this," is what it said.
Yeah, that was.
I
Also
think I've got-
I got that.
I'm pretty sure I've
gotten
gotten
it
that
twice
at
now,
some point. I don't even understand how that's
Oh, yeah.
possible.
Who thought that would help anybody ever?
I mean, you
mean,
probably
you
shouldn't
shouldn't
get
get it,
that, so.
If you shouldn't get it,
Obviously, you shouldn't get error messages.
There was just one on Windows 10. I saw somebody
yeah,
posted on the.
something happened.
I
Yeah,
think that's what
something-
I was think- yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking of actually. But both of them are good.
Have any of you switched to Windows 10? Because that just came out within the last, 2 weeks?
It's Wednesday.
I can't
yeah.
download it yet. I don't
I-
think.
Or last.
I haven't looked at it yet, but I have my copy reserved.
I reserved mine, but like the icon, the little program doesn't actually work. It just closes right away. So I don't know.
Oh, I literally, while talking, I just got the notification that the download is in progress for Windows 10. So that's
Ooh.
happening right now.
It's a sign.
It's
It's
kind of.
because Microsoft's listening, man. They own Skype. They own Windows. They're talking about Windows 10. Let's promote this.
I just
is.
went to go check, and then boom, it just popped up like we're downloading now. It's
There it
like,
is,
oh.
man. This is scary shit.
All right.
You're
Anyway,
witnessing Big Brother in action here, people.
I'm probably not gonna actually do it. I'm gonna probably let it download because there's a lot of weird spying things kind of going on with Windows 10, and it's kind of really sketchy, and I'm not a big
Isn't there-
fan.
Don't people know how to disable them already? Or
Mhm.
You
not all
can't.
of them?
Yeah, you can disable most. I'm pretty sure all of them by now. But the problem is that a lot of it's on by default, and so you have to basically go through the trouble of doing that. You can, if you choose custom installation, you can go through and uncheck all that stuff. But the problem is that a lot of it is wrapped up with other features. So like the whole Cortana thing. I mean, it's obviously using Microsoft servers to answer all your questions, but to use it, it means you have to allow them to basically take a bunch of stuff off your machine, which you might be comfortable with, you might not be. So, you have to basically make a choice between whether you want to use certain features or whether you want to let Microsoft into your life.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I don't think I would ever use that anyway. So
I'm
Yeah,
really excited
that's
for
just me.
Cortana, honestly. Because I know they're releasing Cortana on Android in the near future, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of really excited for it. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's an interesting tech. It's certainly interesting to see how far we've come, but I don't know.
'Cause I mean-
I guess I'm not really like a mobile phone power user, or even I mean, I don't use my desktop computer to organize my life. I use my phone to organize my life,
Mhm.
and even that's just like putting things into a calendar app. So it's not really that much trouble to just go to the icon, put it in. So I don't know.
My life is revolved around this entire
Yeah.
thing. Like I need this to operate on a daily basis for doing my
Well,
job. It's
yeah.
it's kind of sad. But let's see. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, Mark and we both got into the 144 hertz monitor master race, so that's been
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
exciting.
yeah.
Like I said, the first thing I just did a review on the monitor on my channel, and like I said, the first thing I noticed when plugging it in was just like the mouse cursor. I was like, it's so smooth. There's like no ghosting. I don't know why, but that was the first thing I noticed. And I was like freaking out, like playing with it, like going through across the screen and everything. But
I probably would have too, but since you said that, I noticed it right away. But even if you didn't say that, I probably would have. But it's way smoother.
I know. Did you end up doing this? Because I know someone found out that with SLI with NVIDIA, if you have 144 hertz, your first card runs at like a higher clock speed than normal. So did you end up changing it down to 120? Because I know I did.
Yeah, I'm at 120, but I don't think it really. I didn't notice that big of a difference in temperature that you said.
Yeah, let me just.
Mine-
I'm just
my
do this.
cards.
I'm just gonna do this real quick on live demo because why not? We have the technology to do this sort of thing. Because if I do NVIDIA control panel, I don't know how to do that. But anyway, and then Ryan also moved on to SLI with 560s, so that's pretty neat.
I got food in my mouth.
Jesus Christ.
Most professional podcast. NA.
Oh, I think I might have just broke this. Hold on.
And there it is. And game over. Podcast canceled.
I
Bye.
I just changed the refresh rate, and I think that might have broke some things.
That
But
just borked the entire operation.
but anyways, like I'm showing it right now. It's like my first card runs at 783 megahertz, while my second card's only at 324 when it's running at 144 hertz for whatever reason. And the temperatures are already like it's like a 5-degree difference between the temperatures, and they'll probably change through time. But I thought it was really odd. I don't know why that happens. I don't even think NVIDIA knows why that
Well, I'm
happens,
guessing
to
on
be
the
completely honest.
I'm guessing when you're not doing game rendering on the desktop, you're probably only using one card,
Right.
just by default. Would be my guess. So it's probably just pushing a lot more pixels through that one. So, I don't know. That's why you got to get them custom fan curves, man.
I mean, I have a really aggressive fan curve on mine.
Yeah, so
It's just
do I.
anything over 1 degree is 80% always.
Pretty
It's
much.
too aggressive.
So I mean, basically, as soon as I hit, I think it's 40 degrees, I hit my fan speeds to like 60%, and then once it starts putting like 45, it starts going like way up. So
Yeah, maybe that's what I should adjust mine. I don't even
Doesn't.
play with mine.
I'm pretty sure it does make a difference.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I know
For like,
it does, but I'm also
even
a
like
lazy fuck, so.
when I was messing with overclocking mine, like if I didn't have the fan curve, it would just crash right away.
that's good. It's good. So yeah, Ryan moved on to dual 560 Ti's, and we talked about this before. It's the wonderful economy of the trickle-down effect, where one person upgrades becomes another person's new technology, and that's still happening today. Because just this week, just a few days ago, as Tom mentioned, he moved up to RAM, and so I now doubled my RAM to 16 gigabytes because
Knock out
of
my
his
old
upgrade. So the economy is a beautiful, beautiful thing as long as you have
Right.
kind of a big enough group
Pretty
to do
much.
it. It's
The
probably
Bob just
yeah. And it's going to continue because we're now talking about upgrading in the near future. Something we'll touch on now is like Skylake coming out. I don't know if any of you guys have any interest in Skylake. I know I really don't still at this point. Because the problem with Skylake, which we'll talk about, is that it's a much of a bigger upgrade than kind of like the smaller scale upgrades, mainly because you'll have to change your RAM as well. And it's just a lot of things you'll have to buy. And DDR4 is still on kind of, more of a more expensive thing at this current time. But I mean, were anybody else thinking about upgrading CPU motherboards at any point? I know Connor was talking about he had no interest
I
whatsoever.
want to upgrade everything in like a couple months.
Really?
Like a whole new computer, probably.
Oh, okay.
even the processor, you're just gonna get rid of that?
Well, I might keep the processor. That's really the only thing worth keeping, and my SSD
Yeah.
because I just got an SSD.
Okay.
Even the drive, like the regular hard drives, you're just nixing them.
Well, I mean, all right. I'll keep the hard drives and
The power
possibly
supply?
my-
You're gonna get rid of the power supply, man? It's perfect good power
Yes,
supply.
I am.
What do you have?
What do you even have?
Is it the 430? Do you have?
I don't know.
Don't you have my old 600?
It's five. It's either 600 or 550.
I thought I sold you my old Corsair 620.
You sold me
was
a
that
Corsair or
Ryan?
something.
Honestly,
Here, I'll just take a look.
A, look.
600.
B, I've been through like 3 or 4 PSUs.
I
Corsair
have
600.
I have one of yours.
Because I have Mark's old power supply, and I have Tom's old RAM, and I think that's all I have from other people's stuff.
So you have.
I used to
I
have
have-
your old power supply, Nick.
Yeah, I think. Would I sell you that for
upgraded,
$1?
Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, $1.
That was like.
the brand.
Is
not
bad.
remember exactly what it was,
Oh,
but it
was it-
had
I think-
.com.
I think it's Extreme Gear. I think is what it was. It was like Extreme Gear. Some really shitty power supply. Rule number
This
one of getting a pre-built computer: do not get a crappy power supply. I didn't have any problems with it, but I've heard like people's computers just catching on fire sometimes.
Evan
so,
still got it. The same brand that you had. He still got that in his.
Ugh, whatever. Fun stuff. Does he have a 970? Is that what he got
Yes.
then? Okay. So then his 560 Ti went to Ryan. Okay. I'm telling you, the economy.
Correct.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
First, man.
I had your 560. I got Kevin's. They didn't mesh together because his is 2 gigs.
We're
and,
having it.
Okay.
So then I gave Kevin's to Connor, and Connor gave me Tom's old one. So Connor has Kevin's, and I have yours and Tom's.
Gotcha. So in terms of graphics cards in the future. Mark, you're talking about moving up to the 900. I know, Tom, you've been thinking about the 900 series as well. I mean, kind of what graphics cards are you looking at in terms of that market?
980 Ti. That's my plan.
Okay.
970 most likely.
Okay. I wonder. I'm trying to think. Like, when would be the next NVIDIA release for cards? Would that not be until like April or something, possibly? Because usually around this time we start getting those rumors of the new cards.
The next iteration.
Yeah, but the 980 Ti is really not even that old. I mean, that came out within the last like 2 months, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know. And you had the whole scandal with the 970 like earlier in the year with the whole 3.5 gig with the other half gig that's like slower.
Yeah.
NVIDIA's having kind of a rough year.
Are they gonna fix that, or is that just a thing that happened?
I think that's just a thing you have to deal with. I'm pretty sure.
No, I
So,
thought
like-
they did. I thought they pushed a patch through.
They said they're trying to fix it. I remember, but isn't. I mean, it's like false advertising almost.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then they're having, like I said, they're having a rough year because if they're NVIDIA Shield tablets now, they're all it's a voluntary recall because they're starting to overheat, and that's fun. I don't think there's ever been any actual reported cases of things happening, but I think it's all precautionary because it's getting really hot, which you can expect with summertime in the northern hemisphere. I'm sure that's starting to affect some more people. But anyway, so if not graphics cards, obviously we're talking about the new Skylake processors by Intel, which have now been unveiled at Gamescom. Their fancy packaging, the Core i7, the Core i5, the Core i7, the 6700K, and the i5, the 6600K. And I've officially kind of at this point lost whatever naming scheme they have going for them at any point. I'm just so confused because we'll actually jump forward to this article here, which kind of shows off, Intel then and now, jumping through their processor naming schemes, and it's just, I don't understand. I don't know if there is some type of coherency, if there is like an actual rhyme or reason to their naming scheme, but
they're generally going up in terms of, it used to be the 970 or whatever was the original i7. Then they jumped over the thousands to go to the 2600, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 2500, 2300. And then they went up to 3000, 4000, 5000, now they're up to 6000.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going up by 1000, but then in between it's just this like mess of other parts that fuck knows where they're all coming together.
Because you had the Intel i7 2700K, and then you had the Intel i7 4790K, which came after that. That was in 2013. The 2700K was in 2011. Obviously 2012, that would be Ivy Bridge, which was...
Wasn't it the 3770?
Yeah.
37, 3570.
All those.
So, I don't know.
Even Sandy was pretty consistent.
Mhm.
I mean, the 2700K was like, they were like, all right, this is just a minor increment. And then it just went to shit.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've had the 2600K since I built my first computer back in 2011. I still don't really see a need to upgrade past that point. I mean, the jump between from Sandy or from what was it before Sandy Bridge? I forget already. Was it Linfield to Sandy Bridge? Yeah, Linfield to Sandy Bridge. It was like a pretty significant jump, and then kind of beyond that point, it almost seems like Intel's been focusing a lot more on like the iGPUs and the internal graphics and that kind of thing. That there's been huge improvements for that, which has been awesome for mobile. I mean, you're talking battery life is like significantly higher with like Haswell, for example, but in terms of raw performance, there really hasn't been anything mind-blowing.
Well, it's because of their pacing with the whole development cycle with the tick-tock. Every time they do a die shrink, it becomes more power efficient. So, like you said, on mobile or smaller embedded platforms, it's obviously going to be a lot more. Whereas on the desktop market, we've sort of hit a performance wall where we're not really, you can't really make as many advances as you once could. So,
because I mean, right now the 6700K, I believe this is the second series of processors by Intel that now are at 4 gigahertz. I believe with the Haswell refresh that you have, wasn't that 4 gigahertz based?
Yeah.
Too?
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, this is the second time they're putting out the 4 gigahertz range, and it's the slow incremental increase through time with that. Meanwhile, AMD is just doing things because they can. They had the 5
More
gigahertz.
cores.
Yeah, the 5 gigahertz processor. I think it was Vishera. I think is what it was codenamed, and then they had just like keep adding on more cores with that. The 6-core, the 8-core processors, the Bulldozer, for example. But those just are so power inefficient. Like they're I think like 200 watts, like TDP on them. Meanwhile, the new ones. Now the new ones now are both at 91 watts for TDP. But yeah, I mean the nice thing too with Intel is they have the hyper-threading, so 4 cores, 8 threads, which I guess kind of bypasses the need for 6 cores and 8 cores on your more consumer-grade processors.
Right.
So, kind of neato. But and then for the 6700K, the i7 is priced at $350 MSRP, and the i5 6600K is at $243 MSRP. Oddly specific. But again, with the upgrade to Skylake, they also moved on to DDR4. So it is the Z170 motherboards. That's the new chipset for them. And of course, with the Intel upgrade, they have the new socket. That's the LGA 1151. So one-upped the 1150. Again, DDR4. You can also use the DDR3L, which is the lower voltage DDR3. And if I'm reading this correct, you can basically take existing DDR3 with motherboards that support it, existing DDR3, and just go in the BIOS and turn down the voltage, and it should theoretically work. So that's neat, I guess. But again, I don't know. It's technology's advancing before our eyes. You're moving forward to DDR4, so there's a headline right there, the march to DDR4. And I guess that's something that's keeping me from upgrading immediately too, is kind of that big jump. Because I mean, right now, I'm just stealing other people's DDR3 and just upgrading mine.
Well, I mean, and that's I think sort of the big thing here. That title is very accurate. Where it says the march, it's certainly not a sprint. It's a slow incremental upgrade. Obviously, right now it's only in very enthusiast builds, or most likely you'll probably see it in like a server enterprise situation before it's going to trickle down, before they actually get the tech to make it cheap enough for all of us to afford it. But the problem, with DDR4 is you're going to need a new processor and a new motherboard. So basically it means a large system rebuild.
Which I guess would be good for Connor's case, but I know he mentioned he might even want to keep his 2700 case. I mean, ideally, the time to upgrade if you want to jump on to the new technology and you have the money would be now, because I mean, you're starting to hit the point where everyone's starting to find out these beautiful, beautiful things with DDR4. I don't know if you saw today, they just set the new world record for overclock on DDR4. Something ridiculous. I think it was like 4.8 gigahertz on I think it was G-Skill. Let me look that up real quick. But I mean, does that I guess for Connor, does that like intrigue you at all in terms of moving to Skylake, or you really just want to keep rocking the Sandy Bridge?
I mean, it depends. Sandy Bridge, I still think Sandy Bridge is good. I still don't have any problem with it, and I'm not really one, as you guys know, to really try to be on the cutting edge. I just want it to work and work well. But it's certainly tempting, considering now that I have a job and have a steady income. It's like I have money, so I might as well just spend this, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, that's good.
You are definitely getting in on like the ground floor here. If you were to upgrade to this latest Intel, or latest announced Intel generation. So I don't think it's necessarily like you have to wait for them to work the kinks out. I mean, I think you can kind of assume if you buy it, it'll work. But
I mean, it's not like it's good.
I agree. I mean, I'm not really worried about like buying new technology at this point and have it being like seriously broken. I think, there's obviously a possibility of small kinks, but I think like it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's brand new with Skylake. I believe Haswell E, the Extreme Editions, that was with DDR4.
You can buy DDR4 now.
So it's not like it's completely brand new. I mean, it's been out a little bit. And the same thing with Windows 10 too. I'm not jumping into the Windows 10 bandwagon right away, mainly because I want people to figure out the little kinks and
test it for you,
and kind of avoid having to use the stupid and anti-piracy and all that kind of stuff. Trying to avoid all that scary things. Because I don't know, the other thing too in the new terms of service, I don't know if you saw with Windows 10, they have like the ability to just turn off hardware that's like not off. I think it was unauthorized hardware. They can just like turn it off. Because why not?
Sweet.
So it's I don't know what that means. I don't know what unauthorized hardware is, but that's kind of fun. But I don't know. So that's fun. DDR4 is the future, and the future is nigh. Here we are.
When did DDR3 come out?
Let's see. I mean, the computer I was just fixing yesterday was from 2007, no, 2009, and it had DDR2 still in it. So I feel like DDR3 takeover had to have been around then, probably early 2010s, maybe late 2000s. I don't know. I'm not really sure when that big, like, the jump from DDR2 to DDR3 was. I don't know.
It was before that, I think. I mean, like, that Pentium box that I have back there can do DDR2, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And DDR3, but, I mean, those were being sold for like $20 2 years ago, so my guess would be that it's quite some time ago.
Okay.
But, I don't know.
All right. Also at Gamescom, you had the new peripherals starting to come out, and it's starting to become the peripheral war. For whatever reason, 2015 will forever be known as the year of the RGB product. So just RGB everything. I mean, every company is starting to push that now. You have, I believe it was at, what's the Las Vegas conference? Consumer Entertainment Expo 2000, and like, CES, I think like 3 years ago is when Corsair unveiled their K70 RGB. It actually didn't come out until last year. Or was it even this year? I think it actually was. No, I think it came out August.
Year, wasn't it?
I think it shipped to me like late last year. I'm pretty sure. But obviously everyone's starting to jump on the RGB bandwagon because everyone loves customization, right? You guys are all jumping on that, right?
I'm rocking my red keyboard. It works out fine. Got my blue mouse.
Yeah, I mean,
all red
I have a
everything.
blue keyboard and a red mouse.
Whoa! We should trade 1-in-1 so that they match.
No.
My keyboard
Yeah,
used to
you're
be able to switch colors until I upgraded until I put Windows 8 on this computer, and now it can't. So
was it a software that didn't work with it, or
I
is
think
it?
it's just the software, and I have been too lazy to upgrade or like update the actual software.
Let's get a firmware update.
Good.
But yeah, it's blue, and my mouse doesn't have any colors, so
Okay. I mean, I'm the only one that I think, I mean, I've been, like, at all the previous BoBCast, I've been all over, like, anticipating for the K70 RGB. That's kind of been my big thing, and I've been talking about it for so long, but none of you have really seemed any interest in RGB products. I mean, do you care at all? Like, is this
no.
effective? Nope, nothing at all, huh?
Zero.
I got a red K70.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I need is my actual case to have changing rainbow colors.
That's true. You do have that going, which is pretty sweet, Ski.
I mean, this way, these keyboards would be perfect for you then. I mean, the keyboard's all crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, Corsair and Razer are even releasing headsets that are RGB. It's basically just the logos on the side that change color.
Unnecessarily.
That, I think, is where the line has to be drawn. At that point, you can't even appreciate it because it's on the your head. You can't even see the damn thing.
Are you?
My
What
headset
are we
has
doing right
LEDs
now,
on it.
man?
No, I mean, like,
That's right.
I'm not like turning like, hey, look, guys, look at the large. I mean, it's just, I think
That's
it's.
why I got the custom speaker tags.
Oh,
Right
you
there.
do have that. I
Promoting-
forgot about
promoting
that.
it. Bob Gaming. Go. Let's go.
I love that so much, but obviously,
So I mean, with the peripherals though, like, all I wanted was mechanical switches, so I got my keyboard that's got mechanical switches in it. I like a mouse that has good buttons on the side. That's why I originally was with the Naga, but that was too small for me, for my liking. So then I upgraded this the Corsair M95. So I mean, I don't really care how it looks as long as it
Mhm.
does what I want, has the features I want, and these both do. So
I
and
mean,
the price was right. I mean,
Corsair has the RGB M95. I mean, if you were shopping today and you didn't have the M95 and you were shopping for an M95, would you invest the extra whatever for an RGB version of the M95?
I think it depends how much extra it is.
I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah,
all
I
I'm
mean,
seeing is
If it was
Saber.
like an extra $10, like, yeah, all right, sure, why the hell not?
I mean, the RGB K70 is a big jump. I think, Mark, what did you pay? Do you know what your K70 was price-wise? Because I'm pretty sure the jump is pretty substantial from like the red to the RGB version.
It probably is, because if it wasn't, I probably would have got the RGB. But
Yeah.
Yeah, because here's the Corsair Vengeance K70 newer version. What's the new version? Oh, okay. Like 130. Okay.
120, 130, yeah.
And then the RGB version, I believe, is about 180 to 200. So it's about $60
I
or
wouldn't
so.
pay that.
Okay. I don't know. But the other big thing that Corsair released was their first. I don't know if this is their first MMO mouse. I'm pretty sure this is kind of their entry into that market. Was the Scimitar.
So this is my mouse, which is Corsair, but it's got all of these buttons here.
Okay.
Buttons all along the side. This button slows the DPI control. It's got these two buttons here. So I mean, there's certainly no shortage of buttons on this mouse.
Mm-hmm.
But this is definitely in that MMO style, like the Naga that Razer has.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar on the side, that side button. So
my biggest complaint with it, and with the headset too, is that they're giving you full customization of the LEDs, which is awesome. But why paint it yellow like that? Like, why have an accent color on it?
Thing.
It's so stupid. Because, it goes back to their old logo, the tramp stamp. They had that like right on the palm of the mouse, like hideous. So I wanted to get a new mouse, but I was holding off until their new logo came out, which is like the sails again, but they're like sharper pointed sails.
Sit on that, man. Get the tramp stamp ones. It's like Beanie Babies, all right? It's only going to mature, and you'll be able to sell it for many monies.
I don't think so. I mean, like, Mark, do you still have the or is it the, what do you have? Like the M something 680, 600? I don't know what the fuck it's called. What mouse do you have?
My mouse? Oh, it's a
Logitech?
Myonix. No, I've never even heard of it before.
What was your old
my
one then?
That was a Logitech.
Logitech. Okay, gotcha. Logitech's new logo, by the way. That stupid, ugly thing.
You hate all new logos, don't you?
Because they're stupid. Because Logitech's thing has been just that ugly-looking thing that everyone just knows, like, that's Logitech. But now it's just like, LOG.
What is that old boy?
It's pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid looking.
I'm looking at it right now on my keyboard.
I'm looking at it.
You never really investigated
like a
it.
Speaker or something? I don't know what that is.
Like, it's just like
They do
a kidney bean, I think, on the left, probably.
it's a kidney bean that's screaming.
Yeah.
And it's like the shout bubbles. It's not a bubble. But
I think we solved it.
whatever it was, that was just their thing. Everyone saw that. It's like, whatever, guys. I mean, that's your thing.
According to this logo design website, it was originally stemmed from the 1996 logo that was an abstract laser mouse.
What?
If you buy that shit.
Alright, well,
the top thing is like a mouse, and then there's like a laser, and then it's like laser coming out. This light.
I can sort of
turn it
see
on its side, like it's on the side now. Flip it up.
That's a big ass laser, then.
Well, yeah.
This claims that it represents a webcam.
Oh well, then I don't know. Actually, yeah, I've got a Logitech
webcams
webcam
don't
right now.
make noise, so I don't think that's right.
No, that's
Is that video?
no, it's the lines indicating that it's viewing something.
Oh.
And that weird ball thing is the eye of the webcam, and the kidney bean is the back of the webcam.
I guess
if I had a mirror here, I could just show you my webcam, which is a Logitech. And
yeah, so is mine.
It's a circle, but yours is like the flat one, isn't it?
Yeah,
You have a clapper, but you don't have a mirror.
Yeah, not around me. I also have a mirror in my room. Do you want me to go get that?
No.
I guess the question
bring it in here.
The question is, what was Logitech's big product in 1996? Like, what was their big product?
I thought they got their start in. I guess I've seen some pretty old Logitech webcams, so it could be. Could also be a laser mouse.
Why is the top one red?
I mean, it's a record button, so it's like,
yeah.
so maybe it is a
mine's on the
webcam.
side.
Yeah, mine
I
is
don't
too.
know.
I don't know, whatever. But anyway, their new logo is like this modern, this text, like this weird looking G
Just
thing.
says Logitech.
Wait, that's
So I mean, that's
I don't like that.
rest in peace, little guy. Little weird thing that we had no idea what it was. But anyway, going back to the products, this kind of the fireworks show between Razer and Corsair started. So here's some their new product that Corsair is really pushing is their new keyboard. I don't know if it's the successor to the K70, but it's definitely what they're becoming, like their main keyboard. It's the Strafe keyboard, also an RGB because why not? And they also just announced at Gamescom was the silent one. So it's still the Cherry MX switches, but they're now silent. So no more clickety clackety. Even on the Reds, I mean, I guess they're more silent than the Cherry Reds for whatever. So that's kind of neat. But you know, very nice keyboard, the Strafe. The one thing I do love about the K70 is the media control buttons. I love the slider for volume. And like the play, pause, next, all that kind of one. I love those buttons very much, which you can see. I don't know if it's on any of these pictures. Here's all their new products. Here's the new mouse, or the headset. Let me do full screen on that. And the mouse in action, and all the crazy RGB themes for everything, because why not? But yeah, the Scimitar, the Void, and the Strafe are their 3 new products. Also, I don't know if you saw the Razer, and adding to everything RGB, they have the RGB mouse pad now, where it's outlined in like lights, and it lights up RGB. So I think at that point, and the headset is where it starts crossing the line.
Too much.
I think.
Too much color.
But yeah, jumping to the Razer came out after the Scimitar mouse was announced. I kind of said, if I see yet another company ripping off the Naga again, I'm going to throw up. That's the CEO of Razer venting on Facebook about that. Obviously targeting Corsair and their mouse, presumably, anyway. Meanwhile, Corsair and the entertainers that they are released a video showing off the new RGB products, which is basically said, 2014 we pioneered RGB lighting for gamers, loved by many, copied by some. And I'm pretty sure that's shots at Razer for their Chroma products.
Yeah.
So the beauty of internet feuds, it's a wonderful thing. So I guess before we jump to that topic, so no one RGB products, not a thing for anybody.
Doesn't matter.
Gotcha. All right.
I want an LED mouse pad that changes colors.
Look up the Razer. I forget what it's called. I don't. It's probably got some name to it. But it's a Razer mouse pad. It's probably just like Razer Chroma and then just mouse pad. I don't know what it's called, but it is a thing that lights up RGB.
Oh,
Because
Jesus.
why
that
not?
was a joke.
No, it's a thing.
Hoping. You were hoping.
Firefly.
I need to plug
Is that
in
what
my
it is?
fucking mouse pad now. Jesus.
I
Let
guess
there be light. Oh my god.
That's what it is. The Razer Chrome mouse pad.
yeah, that's just great.
Wait, I thought it's I see Firefly. That's what it's called.
Or that's what I looked up and I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Razer Firefly. I guess the one nice thing about this is going back to naming schemes that don't make any sense. So Intel, we've had that discussion earlier, but Razer in particular really bothers me with their naming schemes because they keep naming their upgraded versions the exact same thing. So the Razer Black Widow that I have here from 2011 is the exact same name as their new one. It's like the Razer Black Widow, but it's like the green, and then now also switched to their own custom keys. They're the Razer greens. I forget that. They're basically coming from the Cherry, which is now open source for everyone because it lost its patent or whatever. So now everyone can make and replicate the Cherry keys, but now Razer has it, and they just keep using the same name for all their new products over and over again, and it's really annoying. I don't know why, but it just really bothers me. Just come up with a new name.
Well,
Damn
I
it.
like how they've exhausted snake names. Like they used to all name all their products after snakes, and then they just sort of ran out. So now they've got like Firefly, or Chimera, or whatever the name of their headsets were. Black Widow. I mean, that's a frickin' spider. Actually, wasn't Orb Weavers are spiders? That happened a while ago.
God
So
bless it.
I guess now they're going for like a snake and spider vibe. Maybe they're just like trying to pick out like people's phobias, things
Venomous animals or
venomous animals that a lot of people get freaked out by.
I don't know. Whatever.
Just so you know, the Razer Firefly is optimized for all sensitivity settings and sensors.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's validated by esports athletes, so you have to buy it.
Oh yes.
That's exactly what I want.
That's what they use. That's all they use.
Great. All right. Well, switching gears now to the frightening state of our world that we live in. Android, the stage fright exploit. It's this terrifying thing that I didn't even know about until a conversation with Tom like 3 days ago on a car ride. So please entertain us with the stage fright.
With stage fright, yeah, entertain. So,
Get it?
basically,
See what I did there? The stage.
No. So basically, when you get a text message, you get two options really. There's SMS and MMS. The SMS is just the standard when you just send a text to someone, limit 40 characters or 140 characters. And of course, we've gotten around that in a little bit, but so that's just your standard text message. MMS is what you get whenever you're sending pictures, video, or sometimes they'll use it for group chats on a standard text messaging application if you're not using something like WhatsApp or whatever. So basically what this exploit does is if you send a specifically crafted MMS message to someone, they don't even have to open it. They just get the message and it'll start running it on their phone, and you can remotely exploit this bug to basically run code on it, install malware, do whatever you want. And yeah, the problem is that basically whenever your phone gets one of these, it tries to automatically load it. So that's why you don't even need to open it at all. There's a way to turn off auto loading. So right now that's the mitigation tactic. People are recommending turn off auto loading for your MMS and just basically wait until your providers push out a patch for it. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty scary stuff. Like I was saying before the cast, I got a text message from the number 1 that was an MMS, and I have turned off auto loading. So I guess
you'll never know.
What if for that one?
What if number 1 wants to send you some sweet pics or something?
Maybe it's like the president, number 1, the first stonemason or Freemason or whatever the fuck, and they wanted to invite me into their secret club, and it's like, hey, you want now I don't know, so whatever, I'll take the risk.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
That's
great. most it seems that most aren't. It's exaggerated how many devices are actually affected by it. It seems.
Yeah, there's all sorts of weird things going on. Even this article by Android Central kind of goes in about it. How it's almost seems like the numbers are just really bizarre. Because I know this is something that's slightly different. But the head of Android security basically said that 90% of Android devices have technology called ASLR enabled, protecting users from the issue. But at the same time, earlier we were hearing nearly 1 billion devices that could be infected by this. So it's I don't know.
I mean, as with any bug, it's hard to know right at the start what all systems are affected. But there's a way to mitigate it now. Just wait for a patch, or wait for a statement from your maker to see if you're good to go. That's
yeah. I mean, because here it says everyone above Android 4.0, which is Ice Cream Sandwich, should be good to go. Right. Because it won't take something and put it into the RAM, and so it can't basically run and But whatever. I don't know. It's just something to keep an eye on. I'm still not going to turn off auto download and auto recovery of the text messages, because what you were saying the other day was when you just kind of do it all, it's just the text messages are all out of order if you're talking with 6 different people. And
when you're in a group text, it does make it pretty complicated. But whatever.
I guess for you guys, do any of you use any type of security on your phone? Do you have any type of antivirus or anything at all on your phone?
I don't.
I don't. I just, when I started working, put a passcode on my phone.
All right.
Because they made me.
Okay.
God. Yeah.
That's fair.
mine's encrypted. It's got a PIN, but I don't run any antivirus. I don't run any secure text apps or anything. Mostly because I could probably never convince any of you guys to use them, and it's not like we're setting up any deals. So ultimately, I don't really have a need for it, and I just sort of assume that my phone in general is just already easy to compromise. Just knowing what we know about the security state that we have, it's sort of, I'll just kind of accept it. So
because I have Sprint by default put something on my phone and you can't get rid of, which obviously bothers me. But it's like basically anytime it installs an app, it'll scan it and all this kind of stuff and like look for things. It has like random scans like once a week on their phone, like looking for things. So I guess that's kind of neat. I have no idea if it's ever helped me at any given point, but at least it gives me the impression that I feel a little bit safer. I don't know how it is. Anyway. I mean, moving on from that to the terrifying world that we live in with not only that, but also, cars can just start getting hacked into. Because that's... Go ahead and explain how the Teslas and the Jeep was hacked into. Because this is fascinating to me. Like, it's so amazing how people can think of just hacking into things, like finding these little exploits and like hacking in.
I mean, so basically every modern exploit stems from the fact that things are connected to the internet that don't really need to be. Some things make sense, our phones, our computers, but like the problem is, with these Jeeps, they wanted to add features to the Jeep. You want to connect it. You have these infotainment systems now where you can stream Pandora or whatever, connect to the internet. The problem is that gives people an attack vector to get into your Jeep, in this case, or in the Tesla's case. So basically, you just find a loophole through it. Now, the weird thing I heard about was with the Jeep case anyway, they were able to hack in through the radio, which presents some pretty big problems, because basically if you just get a powerful enough transmitter, you can just sort of hack anything in the area as far as radio waves will travel. So that was pretty scary stuff. And yeah, I mean, it seems to be, so DEF CON's going on right now, basically the conference where all of, or is it, it's DEF CON, where basically all these security exploits are coming out. And so a big theme has been mobile, basically hacking all your cars, hacking basically just any type of car. So there's this hack, there's the one that just opens general wireless keyless or key entry, and one that goes through OnStar that does it. And again, it's people are trying to add features. So like the OnStar one, basically you have a mobile app which is useful if you want to turn your car on or find your car in a parking lot from your phone. So that's great, but it means that if someone standing next to you can read the messages coming off of your phone, they can then replay them to your car whenever, and they can then get access to it. So, this is why basically you need more security researchers in the world finding these bugs.
I mean, I feel like when like the Tesla was being developed, I feel like the last thing people were really thinking about was maybe someone just hacking the car while it's driving down the interstate. Because I mean, like the Jeep case, going through the onboard entertainment system can take control of the steering, the transmission, and the brakes. That is just what?
Well, yeah, and this is also, I mean, so in addition to everything not needing to be connected to the internet, not everything within the car needs to be connected. So I've looked a little bit into how car electronic systems work, and basically there's a centralized computer that runs all these subsystems, and so if you can get to one subsystem, you can in theory compromise the central computer and from there gain access to anything. So it seems like it would make sense if you kind of quarantined the things that are connected to the internet. That would certainly give you less of a way to do serious stuff like this. So
it's just terrifying.
Yeah, it's something. It's
oh man! I mean, with the Tesla, they're able to completely just shut off the car with a hit of a button.
Well, Tesla has definitely been very connected, and they made it a point. They actually push out over-the-air updates to your car. So just like your phone will get something like, you have a new version, basically your car will get the same idea, which makes sense because they've actually introduced things like better power management for their battery, which, in an electronic vehicle is exactly what you want. It increases your range, and so overnight you have just a more range on your vehicle. So something like that's awesome. But then when you have hackers like this finding how to basically manipulate it for the worse, well, this is what you have to deal with.
Actually, what really interesting what you just said too was that like we were talking about Tesla was over the air kind of update. Meanwhile, the Jeep, it was a Jeep recall, but the recall actually entailed sending you a USB drive, and you had to insert the USB drive to then basically update your computer. But how many people? Okay, if you have like a 60-year-old man driving a Jeep, is he really gonna do that?
Nah, I mean that's the problem. And well, I mean, look at why we still have so many people running Windows 95 or XP, in this world. It's just people don't want to change. People don't want to upgrade. It's just easier to not and just live in ignorance. So. Yeah, right. People paying for AOL.
I mean, this is something I was just thinking about. I saw this not long ago. People are still paying for dial-up AOL. Like they're paying for it for no reason. Like there's still people paying for like AOL Mail, but that's like free now.
But they just don't know. They're like, wait, I can get this.
That's how AOL's still around. Scam artists.
Our household was still paying for DSL. Until like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we had upgraded and we were running like a solid 1.5 down, which was pretty blazing, But then I convinced them to upgrade, and AT&T, just the peachy people that they are, they were like, "Oh, it's because you're still on DSL," and we're like, "Oh, all right, well, thanks for telling us." And they're like, "Yeah, it's like way more expensive because it's like antiquated equipment, and we have to go out of our way to service you." And I'm like. God damn it. All right. Well, so that was pretty fun.
At least you have at least we have options. Like at least in Chicago, anyway.
Yeah. Right.
You guys had the option between like Comcast, AT&T. There's WoW. There's
like smaller. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like where I'm at in Macomb, we have Comcast. That's it. That's all I get. Which luckily for me.
Monopoly, all right.
I mean, luckily for me, I haven't had a problem because, my internet speed's like 115 down, and I'm paying for like 50. I don't know how that's happening. I'm actually getting more than I'm paying for from Comcast. But actually, I had my first issue with Comcast on July 23rd, and I just got an apology letter from Comcast today. Like
stepping their game up, dude.
Granted, it's not directly to me. It's dear sir or madam. But they did go out of their way.
It's the thought that counts.
And they also gave me a $20 credit. So that's cool, I guess.
Ever since the internet caught hold of those recorded phone calls from Comcast, where people weren't allowed to disconnect their service, I think they've kind of shaped up their PR department. Man.
I mean, like EA,
put a good face on.
Like EA, terrible company, but they're on the rebound. I think EA lately they're in good shape lately. Origin support is probably the best support I think on the internet currently. Maybe next to Amazon. Amazon's really good too, but Steam support. Oh my God, I've never had to deal with them, but the horror
we
stories.
Have refunds now though.
That is true. Which goes into a whole other topic we can talk about down the road. Is how that's going to impact game developers, but whatever, we can talk about that later. I guess we can jump to Gamescom in general.
Talk about some actual games.
Talk about some games. We can kind of near the finish here. So a bunch of new games. Trailers came out from Gamescom 2015. I don't know how much you guys have been. Let me turn the volume off. I have it muted. Why is it? That's super weird.
Just keep it going, man.
I have it muted, but it's still playing. Whatever. All right, so
best production value.
Yeah. So we had the new trailers coming out from Gamescom. One of the much anticipated one was Star Wars Battlefront, the new game mode, Fighter Squadron. I mean, how many of you guys are actually interested in picking up Star Wars Battlefront?
Didn't they get rid of lightsabers?
No,
they still have heroes.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Yeah. They got rid of Shouldn't they not add a lot of features? Like,
It's definitely feature deprived from Battlefront 2. They removed the space battles, which I guess this is kind of a little bit of a
I mean, this is basically their
compensation.
answer to space battles.
which
So
it's
they can
okay.
have DLC later though.
I'm sure
Yeah,
that
well.
the first DLC will probably be like space battle over Coruscant, and it's great. Which, I mean, whatever. I just don't know how I feel about this. I'm a little worried. I mean, it looks beautiful. I mean, the Frostbite engine, obviously, it looks beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And all that. And I mean, I trust DICE to a degree. I just don't trust EA that's, like, pushing them. Especially with a product like a Star Wars product, which could be a huge moneymaker.
Yeah.
That worries me a
Will
little
be.
bit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it
that's
certainly
gonna make
will
a ton
be.
of money. I mean,
So,
yeah, as long as you don't have another Battlefield 4 launch where it's just not good,
mhm.
it doesn't really work on launch. You know, I think if they just take their time, get it running. Yes, there'll be stuff down the road. I'm sure that's just their MO at this point. But you know, I have a cautious optimism for it.
Mhm.
I think it can be very good, but I don't
And
get
just
my hopes up too much.
And then just from what I've seen too, it doesn't seem to play like a Battlefield game. It definitely seems like it has the Battlefront that it used to be.
That's
So-
one of the things that I was worried about. I don't want it to feel like Battlefield. Not that I love Battlefield, but I want it to like feel like its own
Mhm.
thing, like Battlefront.
Yeah, I mean, just from like the videos and things I've seen, like the onstage demos they've been doing and whatnot, like it does look really fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously their marketing team is brilliant, and I'm sure they're making it look phenomenal too. But
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna look good.
hmm other than that, let's see, we got Elite Dangerous. I don't know if you guys play Elite Dangerous. I still think it's something worth mentioning. It's kind of, yeah, it's something I think is still worth mentioning. Is the planetary landings are coming to Elite Dangerous this year. Elite Dangerous, it's fun for the first like, I don't know, 50 hours, but then it really starts running out of things to do. I mean, there's only
Yeah.
so much mining you can do, that kind of thing, and trading. You really start running out of, ideas and whatever. And obviously the player base has gone down. We won't touch on the stupid chaos that has happened with the community with it coming to Xbox and everyone feeling slighted because, like the PC community basically funded the game, backed the game in order to make it happen. Like, oh, console.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, that's
Anyway.
just a whole shitstorm over there.
But yeah, I mean, that subreddit now is just a nightmare. It's cancer, pretty much, is what that subreddit has become, much like the DayZ subreddit. But they're claiming the planetary landings are coming by this year, which is actually following their timetable that they released like a year ago, and no one thought this was actually going to happen, but they're still pretty confident about it. Space Sims, are you guys interested in Space Sims? I mean, I think I'm the only one that has any of them.
Yeah, the No Man's Sky came out with that like crazy launch trailer,
Mhm.
and everything I've seen since then hasn't really made me think it's going to be a bad game. But yeah, there's like 3 different Space Sims right now. There's this, that, and Star Citizen,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know. I'm certainly not.
We
It's not
definitely.
really a genre that I'm like, oh, I really love that one Space Sim. I can't wait to
Yeah.
get another one. So right now I'm focusing mostly on No Man's Sky. I think I like the art style, and I think it's probably the most casual of them all.
Mhm.
So
I think we
know?
just gotta pick a game and just become like an amazing fighter squadron in the sky.
just all go. Yeah,
Bob-
you
the
guys
Bob
already have
Squadron.
the head start on Dangerous. So
Yeah, it's not bad. So the next game I think that I like talking about, again, EA bumping up their game. Unravel, independent, an indie game for this adorable little guy. Basically, it's kind of like a puzzle game, having to
Yeah.
go through complete
Puzzle
levels,
platformer.
kind of, yeah. And the developer, my God, he's the most adorable human being I think I've ever seen in my life.
yeah, he's pretty
What-
nervous. You could, well, I mean, and this always happens at every game conference. Like, there's always some indie game, and they always put the indie dev on stage, and it's like that they spend most of their hours in front of their computer coding, or storyboarding, just working on their game and not practicing their speech skills, which is fine. I'm not saying everyone should be an orator,
Mhm.
but so they always put someone out there, and it's just like, all right. well, now we gotta watch this.
I like it because you could tell how like devoted he was to this game.
Yeah.
Like you could tell how much like he actually cared about it, as
Yeah.
opposed to having like some big executive walk up and start talking
Fucking
about it or
Aisha
whatever.
Tyler
Yeah. Oh God.
coming out there. Well, and
Girl would.
and you got, and that's a very good point. I mean, and this is the same thing with like with the original No Man's Sky trailer. They had all the original devs just come out on stage, and so it's like you can see that they've clearly put a lot of effort into what they want, and they like want to tell you about what they've made.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a balance to be struck. But
Yep.
yeah, no, it looks good. It looks
And
like a cool game.
And he came out with this little stuffed animal too. What is the guy's name again? Yarny or something like that.
Yeah,
I forget what
so-
it is. But he came out on stage with it, and everyone's like, "Aw, it's so cute." Aw. Anyway, another game I'm really excited for is Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I think it looks beautiful. I believe it's probably running on Frostbite engine. I don't know that for a fact,
Yeah,
but
I mean, DICE is making it. I have to imagine it's Frostbite.
And I haven't ever played Mirror's Edge. I've wanted to, but I don't know. It looks pretty fun. Have you guys played Mirror's Edge? Any of you guys?
I have.
Played like 20 minutes of it one day.
I never finished it. I played like 4 hours or something, maybe.
Okay.
It's fun. I just kind of got distracted.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I played it originally on the PS3, and then I bought it again on PC. Played it again, beat it again. It's good. I mean, it's really good. At the time, I remember thinking like, wow, this is. I mean, first-person parkour hadn't really been done, at least at that level. So
It's so different. That's one of the things
Yeah.
I really like about it, is that it's such a different concept, and I love
Right.
games that do this whole like different concept. And the art style too. It's really unique.
the art style was incredible.
Yeah.
Which is one thing watching this trailer. It's like in the original, everything was the stark white, and basically where you had to go was the colored path. So it looks like they're kind of shifting away from that. They're adding a little more color to the world, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but I mean, its art style was definitely one of its most unique features, and I
And
look forward to it.
And to confirm an earlier suspicion, I actually do have Mirror's Edge on Steam.
You
so
do play it, man.
I
Worth it.
could just play this. Apparently,
It's a bundle.
I had it since 2003, almost a year ago, August 14th, 2 years ago, 2013.
2003.
2003. That's
13. God.
He had the very pre-alpha. He's actually on the dev team.
Yeah, I mean, my
Nick works
cousin.
at DICE.
My cousin got it for PS2 back in the day, and I remember him playing it. Was it PS2? Might have been PS3. I don't remember. Was it PS? I don't remember. Whatever. I know
The
he.
original
I
Mirror's
watched
Edge is on
him.
PS3.
Okay, because I remember watching him play it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks really cool," but I don't know if I could play this like for hours. But I don't know. It looks really interesting. So I'm
it's not
excited
that
for
long, so it's pretty
Yeah, it really
easy
is.
to get through.
it.
Especially, once you master the mechanics, you can, breeze through the levels. It's actually really fun watching speedrunners do this, because like the whole game's based on running fast, and so when speedrunners get their hands on it, they just basically break the shit out of it. It's really fun.
So like right here,
speedrun.
because right here in the video, it's at the point where it's like things are like illuminating blue, kind of like I guess it's like illuminating like kind of a path you can take. But again, you
Yeah.
can see what you mean about like the green going up the wall. That's kind of like the path
Right.
you have to take and whatnot. Right,
Yeah,
the green
and-
steps here.
Yeah, and she like jumps on that green part. So they've definitely stuck mostly to their roots, I think. But again, I'll see what people are saying about it. See what the biggest problems are. See if I can live with them.
Okay. And then this is more so just a big thing because it's a Halo game and because it's Halo moving possibly to PC kind of thing. Maybe Microsoft is kind of caring about the PC market. But Halo Wars 2 was announced for Xbox One and Windows 10. So that's kind of neat. I guess the biggest question I have for this game is how is it going to work? Is it, because I know the Windows 10 has an Xbox app. I'm assuming you're probably going to have to use the Xbox app to buy this game. And there's really no question as to are you going to have to get Xbox Live to play this game multiplayer? Would they actually do that? Because I know with Games for Windows Live, they didn't require you to have a gold Xbox Live, but you had to have like a silver account, which is free, to do anything like Halo 2, for example. Now, Windows Live was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was just awful.
Well, the reason I have faith here is because it seems like they're definitely pushing their whole Xbox Windows 10 compatibility thing. The fact that they announced that you can basically stream between like both ways, or at least that seems like what they're gearing up for. Seems like they're really going to try and make it work between the two. And so I think they're going to basically not want to alienate people as much as possible. So they'll try and, I would assume, make this as seamless as possible. I'm sure you will have to buy it through the Xbox app on Windows 10, but that, in theory, should be simple.
As long as there's no atrocious DRM that's like requiring you to like, God, the horror that was Games for Windows Live.
Yeah, it was trash.
I mean, do you guys care? You've never played Halo Wars.
I've never played
I jumped
it.
on the Xbox bandwagon pretty
Halo
late,
Wars, yeah. I have the first limited edition for Halo Wars for Xbox 360. I thought it was such a good concept that was just had errors, but it a console RTS, because that's when I was still on the X360 primarily, and I thought they did a really good job making it work on console, but we'll see what happens. It's also the game that killed Ensemble Studios. I don't know if it necessarily killed it, but this was their last game before they went out, so it's kind of sad. I don't know. We'll see. I like RTS games. I don't really have one I've been playing a lot lately. I guess SimCity, or no, not SimCity, City Skylines. I don't know if you call that a strategy game. It's like a simulator.
Oh, Civilization, yeah.
So it's close, I guess. So, whatever. But maybe that is the sign of the times. Maybe things are coming. These Xbox exclusives coming to PC. Maybe that is kind of a big thing. I mean, you had the Gears of War or the Gears of War pack that's coming.
Yeah.
Granted, that was originally released on PC too, but that's coming. You had Fable Legends, I think it's coming to PC, and I think the direct quote was, "It's not a garbage PC port," or like no ghetto PC port, I think is what Phil Spencer said.
Recommendation.
So that's great. But we will see what happens. I know watching the conference, I had like, it was like Windows 10, there's like excitement level up a little bit. Then it was the 343 Industries, like, okay. And then Halo Wars 2, and like, okay. I was hoping for Master Chief Collection. If Master Chief Collection came out for PC, who would buy that right now? Anyone of you guys?
I would
it was on
buy
sale.
it. Yeah, probably not right away, but I would buy it.
I want it so bad.
I do miss Halo.
That's why you gotta try Halo Online.
I played it already.
Yeah. You actually played it?
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
it was a while ago, but
we should jump on that bandwagon.
I have to download it again, but
it's so much better now.
Okay. Yeah, I liked it before, so.
Because they got rid of like the peer-to-peer thing you had to buy, like Get Oracle or whatever. They got rid of that. It's an integrated server browser now too. It's just so much better. All right. I guess the last thing we can kind of touch on is really stupid. This is just a classic example of old people that don't understand how technology works. The UK effectively is what made iTunes illegal. It's more so, this is obviously coming from Cult of Mac, so it's talking about iTunes in general, but it's more so any program that rips CDs. Because according to the wonderful legislators in the UK, ripping tracks from a CD is piracy, even if you bought that CD. That's just logical, right?
Of course.
It's basically, I mean, God, I'm just so done. I mean, you had all these ridiculous piracy things trying to push through the United States too. SOPA, PIPA. These things are still trying to come through. Net neutrality things it's still a constant fight. But again, this is just your classic example of just old people not understanding how technology works.
Well, I think there's also a heavy hand coming through from the media.
Oh, for sure.
The media arms of the economy. Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem here is that, like, with any of those bills that you just mentioned and the ones that are currently getting pushed through the House or the Senate, in general, is that it's just this broad language. So, I think this Torrent Freak article has a really good quote where they're basically saying, it's unlawful to make private copies of copyright works you own without permission from the copyright holder, which includes format shifting from one to another. And so the thing is that basically everything in a modern computer is copyrighted at some level. I mean, all of your hardware, for the most part, is copyrighted. The OS, if you're running Windows or Mac, is copyrighted. In that, MP3 is a copyrighted music format. And of course, the music that you're listening to in an MP3 format is copyrighted. So it's just so ridiculous of them to think that they can, one, police this or control it at all. I mean, obviously nobody's going to abide by it, and two, it's just the broad strokes that they paint with is just so absurd to me that they would just put this huge blanket statement out there like, yeah, you just can't copy copyrighted things. Like, it just doesn't. That's not how computers work. So,
like, one of my favorite quotes on here is like, it includes creating backups without permission from the copyright holder.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, this is only just gonna promote more piracy. That's all it's doing. I mean, it's going after the people that are legitimately buying CDs. I mean, people that actually are buying CDs are like, they're helping these people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, who even does that anymore? And you're targeting them. You're targeting the wrong people, guys.
Right. Well, I guess that's sort of the thing. They're like, my guess is that it's some ridiculous way of saying that now under this law they can prosecute people who pirate things digitally. And this is just sort of like a byproduct of it, because like you said, they already tried one way to get through to these people who are, they tried to make it so that ISPs have to shut down piracy websites, and that failed, and so now they're going to probably try this way and use their heavy hand to go after these websites. So,
and the other quote on here is, it's now unlawful to make private copies of copyright works you own without permission from the copyright holder. It includes, format shifting from one to another. And it's just asinine. I mean, how do you guys get your music primarily nowadays?
Spotify Premium.
The Spotify is such a big deal now, too.
Yeah, it's a major force. I do still buy CDs because I like those weird lossless formats, and so I'll buy a CD and rip it into lossless, or I'll try and find it on a website that'll support lossless. So something like Bandcamp, where artists can put up their own music and provide it to you in a lossless format. So that's the primary way that I go.
I mean, like, we just had a record store close here, and I mean, I bought just like a bunch of CDs.
Yeah.
I just like having CDs when driving, because like I have Sprint, and that's terrible service wherever I go, and so like I need something else because my phone won't be able to supply my entertainment needs all the time. So
yeah,
I don't know.
And that's the problem, is that so many record stores have closed down that it's kind of hard to find a good place to buy CDs, short of just buying them off of Amazon, and having them shipped to you. So
pretty much,
I don't know.
The future is a weird place. From your phones getting hacked to not being able to copy anything to your computer.
Basically, to not being able to turn your phone on. Yep.
So I'm just gonna wrap my car in tinfoil and just live in a bunker for the rest of my life.
I was gonna say, I'm staying in my home. These walls, I'm sitting within a Faraday cage here. I'm never leaving. I got a hydroponic system over there, chemical toilet in the corner.
Turn your urine back to water, kind of thing. Just
filter
filtration
it.
system. Yeah.
Yeah.
Live eternally inside your
Off the
home.
grid, man. I got those off the grid magazines.
I have a lot of them. They're not bad. You never know. They're good to
decent.
have. I mean,
Yeah.
if anything, it's one of those things where it's like, well, if there's, like a crippling power outage, I know how to do things.
Yeah, you're like, hey.
I mean,
can
it's
connect all these batteries, make a battery bank.
it's like one of those things where it's like the CDC, they post like their zombie, survival list or whatever
Yeah,
things.
right.
Like, obviously, it's for laughs, but it's serving the real practical purpose of like, well, I mean, the same things apply if there's a hurricane.
Yeah.
So.
Well, my favorite with that though was that I don't remember how they got a hold of it. I think it might have been amidst the whole Snowden leaks, but someone found out basically like what key things, if you buy in bulk or like you buy all together, will put you on a list, will mark you for inspection, and they like cross-referenced it, and that CDC preparedness guide like was one of them. So basically, like if because I mean, like, sure, it makes sense if you're the Unabomber, you want to be packing up all sorts of off-the-grid materials, but it's like also if you want to be prepared for disasters. So that's fun.
But I know there was like,
whatever.
it might have been from that. There's like that giant list of words too, if you're
Yeah, that's
posting
just-
them online. And there were quite a few like weather terms in there. Like it was like the stupid list. I don't know how they contrive it, but.
I don't know, man.
Well, closing thoughts.
So
we actually
basically,
got through
the
everything,
world
so.
is a scary, terrible place. Don't go outside. Just
And-
play video games indoors.
And get Skylake processors. That's I think that,
But
I
have
think-
shut your home.
and that yeah. I think that's what we've
Oh, good.
determined today. Also, annoying. I went to go buy my new scanner today, and this is the first time buying something on Amazon since I have to pay tax on it now because I live in Illinois and they have like their new facility in Illinois. That
Sucks.
was not okay. I was not okay with that.
Already
Last time I
built
got a
that facility?
package. Last time I got a package, I got stolen from my apartment. So, worse things have happened.
The hell, man.
How does that work? Like, what do you have to do for that?
He
I
doesn't have to do anything.
I-
He just comes home and is
yeah,
disappointed.
I just was angry. I talked to Dick's from Dick's Sporting Goods, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll resend it," and
That easy?
that was on Sunday, and I haven't heard anything since. So we'll see what happens.
So that also got stolen. So now someone has 2 golf clubs.
Somebody
Not golf clubs
stole
there.
the order for it, not even the
Oh
package.
shit!
So like that's all they like. You just have to say like it was stolen, and they're just gonna be like, okay, I'll ship
Yeah,
you
they're
a
like,
new
oh,
one."
did you ask your neighbors if they accidentally got it? No, I didn't, but of course I told them I did. It was stolen from the lobby. Like, it's not like he
kinda
left it at
weird.
my door. Like, he just left it
Yeah.
on the first floor of the apartment building, and it was stolen.
Oh, actually, yeah. Now that I think about your apartment building, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
I haven't
anyone
been
could
there.
just walk in and take anything. He just
We
left
can-
it where anyone could get to it.
Jesus.
Could he even get through to your door?
No.
But still, not even like a courtesy ring.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was at work when
I'll
it
be
was
gone,
delivered.
right?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I had
Job now.
I left Conan outside at the traffic cone, and it was stolen. So
What?
What?
Conan. No.
He was such a
R.I.P.
big part
Conan.
of our high school
He was part.
lives.
He was like an
he's
inaugural-
behind Tom right now, actually on the wall.
Yeah, I guess
That's what he was for.
that's the Conan,
that was
man.
his original purpose.
debut picture, debut film.
Oh dear. Well,
Sad.
I think that's all I got. Anyways, any final thoughts from anyone? Like I said, yeah, live in a bunker. Don't
Live in a
buy
bunker.
that. That's one thing
Everyone,
we talked about.
Mark your calendars. You have just witnessed the rebirth of the Vanderbros. We're
Yep.
gonna start pumping out content just weekly.
Hopefully Wednesdays, if that'll work for you guys.
I
Let's
mean,
figure that out
This is
right
honestly
now.
better than Thursdays for
Okay,
me.
Wednesdays around the same time.
Wednesdays.
Because I won't have
podcast
work. 'Cause I
days.
have work Thursday after starting next week. So, all right,
I'm
Wednesdays.
more concerned about getting
It's
everyone
happening.
actually on board the whole like video game recording thing.
Oh, we'll make it work. We'll make it
'Cause,
work.
You know, we can't. You and I can't shoulder the entire burden of a successful YouTube channel. Although it does mean that we split
Yeah,
the
you can.
profits and
Mhm.
just get to laugh at these clowns.
We just gotta get to
They have
PewDiePie
Laugh at us
level.
while we work and make money, and you guys
Have fun with your 10
play
cents each.
YouTube.
Whoa.
There's many 10 cents all compiled to huge bucks, man.
To $1.
I
That's how
mean,
they'll do.
we got rid of our expense, which was our website, so we
was
no
the
longer are
website.
paying for that anymore.
Now
So now we're not
Pay-
losing
paying
money.
for that?
we got
It
rid of
is.
it, man.
It was good for a while.
That went-
It was good practice for a while.
It was good. I liked it a lot. I
Yeah,
I
what you
should have
pay
put
for
out
it,
more
then?
content.
I mean, I have I can put that on my resume, and I have writing examples of writing technology news.
Actually,
So-
yeah, that was pretty safe for work. I should totally put that on an example. The problem is, I'm afraid if someone saw that, they'd go to the channel and see.
What you say.
There's not really
I just-
anything bad.
Which is fine for like recent stuff for the most part, but then
Oh, that
then
one
you
video.
go back in time and they do some correlation. They're like, this guy sounds an awful lot like that angry Call of Duty player. And I'm like, I don't know anything about that.
Oh,
I guess I was playing under a different name, so it could be anyone.
That's true. That's very true. All right, well, thanks for watching the Rebirth of the BoBCast podcast, episode 6. We'll be back hopefully next week as long as these
more.
people are all game for it. We'll come back with new stuff. Video content coming, hopefully. Check out youtube.com/Bandify youtube.com/Stewie2552. That's where we're uploading other random videos as well. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.